Hey guys, kia ora, whakalofa lahi atu, and no mai haere mai. Welcome back to this week's podcast episode. I am so excited that you are here. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. Thank you for coming back. If it's your first time here, welcome. This is podcast 72. I think I wrote down. That's crazy. 72 podcasts in. I just want to say, if you have been here from the start, if you're listening from the start, I love you so much. If you have picked up along the way and you love this kaupapa, you love what I talk about, thank you so much for being here. And if it's your first time, I also invite you to leave me a rating and a reviewing. Does that make sense? Rate and review this podcast, please. Over the last couple of days, I was kind of looking at my stats when it comes to the podcast. We've got 12 ratings and 2 reviews. And I get messages from you guys all the time saying how much you love the podcast. So when you message me to tell me you love them, can you please go ahead and leave a comment and rate it and review it? This helps me get out to a lot more people. It boosts me up in the podcast area. It helps me have credibility so that I do get more podcast people on, because I would love to get more guests on this year for 2024. So if you could do me that big favor or that small favor, I would love you so much. It would take 2 minutes of your time. But on this week's podcast episode, we are talking about why you need to feel pain and to feel all the feels. There's a saying that says you need to feel it to heal it. And I 100% believe that, because there's no way that you can progress through something if you don't face it head on, if you don't heal the thing. How many times have you gone through painful things in life, and maybe it's been so painful that you've kind of built it up, blocked it out and continued with your life and all the things. And it makes sense, right? Because sometimes, you might be a mum, you might have other people you care for, you might have a very demanding job, you might have a lot of things on, you might be doing all the things, family to take care of, your mum, your dad, all the things, right? So you've got a lot of shit going on in your life, right? And then something happens, and it might not be the best time for you to sit down and heal and feel through it and all the things. So, you bottle it up and you go on with life, but you never come back to check on that thing. Or you might just bottle emotions up all the freaking time when things happen, when shit hits the fan, when you go through a traumatic experience. You just bottle it up and you don't feel it, and you just try and numb out. And I think it's very important to feel the pain, to go through it, to feel all the feels, to make space for it, to see and hear yourself. Because if not, these things come out in your life, right? You might always be feeling worried and anxious. Why do I always feel worried and anxious? Why do I always dissociate? It might be coming from these things that have happened in your life, right? You come up with these unhealthy coping mechanisms to get you through. And that's like, it's cool because sometimes you just need to get through life. But it's like, if these things keep happening, they're unhealthy. There's substance abuse, there's the drinking, the alcohol, might be numbing out on social media, just numbing out in general with reality TV shows, numbing out with food, just numbing out in life, dissociating, not being a part of your own life, not being present, just kind of living, not really living, not living your life on purpose, not living your life on passion, with passion and stuff. There might be some lashing out at your loved ones, lashing out at your partner, lashing out at the person at the service station, lashing out in public, overreacting to a lot of things. There might be, somebody might say something that offends you and you just overact and you pop off, and you're just living this really, really negative life. It can also lead to, feelings of not good enough, not worthy enough, just having really bad self-belief issues, wanting to harm oneself, this self-destructive behavior behavior, right? And it also, there has been studies that have shown that, these things can manifest into physical ailments, whether it be a headache that you keep getting all the time, or you keep getting sick, you always got a sore throat, you have cancer, there's certain things that show up, and it's because you've bottled up these emotions and you haven't dealt with shit. It can manifest into actual physical ailments, physical things in your life, sicknesses, all the things. So you might always also be trying to, avoid confrontation, avoid having those hard conversations, because you don't have space for it as well. And it all makes sense, but I think this is why you need to feel the pain, why you need to go through that pain, why you can't keep bottling that shit up, right? So it's not doing any good for your life. If you look at your life now and you aren't enjoying it, is there some areas where you're not dealing with shit that has hurt you in the past? Traumatic situation might have happened and you've just pushed it to the side and kept on moving and thought, nah, that's fine. Like, let's stop looking into the past and all the things like that. But you might need to go back and look in the past and see how that, things might have happened in your body that you aren't even aware of, but it's because you keep bottling shit up. So if there's things that you do that you no longer want to do, there's the substance abuse, drinking, all the things, maybe stop and feel for a little bit. Give yourself time and space, and a safe space for you to feel all the feelings. So I obviously want to help you with moving forward, and the best thing you can do is to ask yourself why you're feeling that way. And very, very small, I was going to say small situation, but I also want you to think about, like, not comparing, your interpretation of something, or, one traumatic thing could have happened and there could have been 15 different people there and they've all got a different response to what had happened. Some people might not even feel anything from it. Other people, it might, freaking ruin their whole lives and they've got all these things going on, right? So don't ever compare what you've been through to someone else. We all experience things differently. So yesterday, actually, I woke up and I was just like in such a bad mood. And me and Mets, we always in the morning, we get up, we have fun, we kisses and cuddles, we dance around, playing music, we talk, we chat, all the things, right? We just have a really good morning. And then I go off to work, he goes off to work, all the things, right? We get our shit done. And yesterday I was just like, oh, like I was in a bad mood. I stayed in bed a little bit extra longer. Usually I get out of bed first. Mets was out of bed doing his thing and I was still in bed, and I was like, fuck, I better get up and go stretch. And I was sending out invoices for my coaching clients and stuff like that. And my mood was just so foul. Like normally I'm just like sending out the invoices and speaking love into it and like abundance and thanking and all the things, right? And my mood was just so bad. And Mets was, making funny jokes and being loud and how he is, right? And I was just getting so irked by it. I was just so annoyed. And I ended up saying to my babe, like, I'm just in a bad mood. And he was like, is there anything I can do for you? And I'm like, no, like, I'm good. I'm just in a bad mood. And, once I got it out there and I just said it to someone, that already makes me feel a little bit better, right? You're just getting that off your chest, right? And then I went and had a shower, got ready for work. And it wasn't until I was in the shower, I was asking myself, like, why do I feel this way? Like, what happened between yesterday, I was feeling all right, to today? And then I thought back to yesterday, last night, and I was like trying to pinpoint the moment where I remembered the mood started to change. And I pinpointed that moment and I got really clear on what happened and why it could cause me to feel this way. Anyways, gave myself the time and space, and I realized that I was just going through self-doubt. I was feeling self-doubt, and it brought on these emotions of, I'm not good enough. I can't achieve my goals. This shit's too hard. What if nobody comes to my events? What if nobody listens to my podcast anymore? What if all these things were coming up and I was just letting it go? Like, yeah, holding space for it. Let it go. Let yourself go to these crazy thoughts of fucking negativity, people might say, negativity, mean thoughts, things you shouldn't say out loud, petty thoughts, all the things, right? Go there. Because these are the things that we're blocking off, that we're like, nah, I'm not going to address it. We shouldn't say that. Sometimes it's that toxic positivity. Like, no, you're feeling that way. Make space for it. That's how you feel. Those thoughts are coming up for a reason. Make space for it. So I let it go. Okay, cool. Seeing all the things, right? Then I realized, oh, it's just self-doubt. Why would I have self-doubt? Oh, well, I'm going to the next level. I'm asking people for things that used to be a problem back in the day. I would never ask people for things. I had this thing about asking for things. I couldn't ask for things. And I might do a later podcast on this as well, because goes back to childhood and stuff, and it might be beneficial to somebody out there. But I really struggled with asking for what I wanted, and for putting myself out there and believing in myself, that self-belief. So there's so many things in it. I was like, oh, no wonder I feel this way. Like I'm pushing my boundaries, I'm pushing outside of my comfort zone, or extending my comfort zone, right? However you want to think of it, right? It's uncomfortable. And it makes sense that self-doubt's going to arise. I should have known this. I should have expected self-doubt to come. And there's a podcast I have on this, and you should go listen to it, because I actually listened to the podcast at that moment, and the podcast helped me so much. But it's like, you should expect it. Self-doubt's going to be there. Hey, self-doubt, thanks for being here. Yep, I know I'm about to level up too, so I was expecting you here. Right? And making space for all those, oh, it makes sense why I would feel this way. It makes sense. I know why I felt that way before. I know why I thought I wasn't good enough, because when I was younger, and connecting all the puzzle pieces and understanding yourself and having that self-compassion as well. So it's all this intertwined things, but get really, really clear. What made me feel this way? What popped off at that moment? Why was this and this and this and this? Get really fucking clear with it. Journal it out. And I can't even talk to you about the importance of journaling. And my clients know now. One of my clients, she's like, journaling? Every time I see her on the calls, she does, as soon as, hey, she tells me all these things. And I'm like, whoa, fucking, she's creating amazing things in her life and uncovering certain things and stuff. But it's journaling, right? Because I want you to picture, we're walking around life, with all the things in our head, right? Things from work, things from home. You might have kids, you have a partner, you have family, you have things you need to do, goals you have, got to get the groceries, got to clean the car. So much shit popping off in your head. Your toddler might have had a fucking, I don't know, a tantrum, and you've got that going on, or you've got these problems with your mom or your partner, and you've just had a fight, and all these things in your head. It's just a fucking mumble jumble all in your fucking head. And we're walking around the world like that. And then you get to work, and your boss might say, hey, Leash, I need you to do this thing by this date and this and this, and it's really busy and you need to do it now and this. And to a normal person, it would be like, okay, cool. What can I do? What can't I do? Or I say normal person, not really a normal person, but you get what I mean, right? It's like you can make a strategy, you can make a plan, but because you've got so much shit going on in your head, there's no room for your boss to come in with this demanding thing. It's another thing, then you explode, then you lash out because you don't have the mental space for it. So when you journal, it's taking all that shit in your head and putting it out on paper and clearing up the mind and freeing it for times like that. When your boss comes, you've got a clear mind. It's like, okay, cool, how can I tackle this? What can I say? How can I react? Can I tell them I'll come back to you? You're thinking clearly. So journaling is so important, and you need to talk about it as well. I talked about how I said to Metz, babe, I'm not feeling well. Excuse me, already that was like a little bit of a weight off my shoulder. And he was like, how can I help? He's trying to cheer me up. If you follow me on Instagram, you see his goofy things that he tries to do, right? And then I messaged him, I was like, oh, sorry, I'm so moody, I'm just realizing. And he's like, it's okay to be moody, right? It's okay to have that safe space to be moody. Sometimes we don't always have to be positive and outgoing and all the things, right? We can have shit days, and we need to feel those feelings. Something might popped off in your family and you're like, oh, I've got to go to work and act all good. And maybe at work, it's not a safe space for you to uncover all those things. So those are the moments where you might have to push it to the side for a little bit. But then it's after work. Do I have space to open that up? Making the time and space for you to feel the feelings. It may be a Saturday afternoon once in a while. Sit down. How am I feeling? What's going on? What have I bottled up? What have I not faced? What is rolling my life right now? Why am I eating crazy? Why I'm numbing out with all this sugar? Why am I not, why am I drinking so much? I'm just drinking all the time. What is it? Where's that coming from? Really getting to the bottom of it. I also can't express enough how important it is to maybe talk to a professional, whether it's a coach, a counselor, a therapist, whatever. There might be a lot of things that it's too overwhelming to open up, right? We don't want to feel the pain. We don't want to feel the hurt. It's too overwhelming. You might need that guidance and that assistance. So go and seek the help. Get help where you can. And it's overwhelming. It's painful. But we need to feel these feelings so that it doesn't ruin or rule our lives, right? We need to, approach them, to see them, to hear them, because, it's ruling our lives. So that's the podcast. Just a reminder that you need to feel the feels, you need to feel the feelings, you need to have these days where you're not feeling that great, but these are the steps to overcoming it, right? You might need to take a day off for your mental health, right? You need to sit down on a Saturday and be like, hey guys, no, I can't come out, and sit with your feelings and get through it, but really getting clear on why you might be feeling that way. If it's a feeling that always keeps coming up, it may be a sign to look into it. Why am I feeling that way, right? You've got to feel it to heal it, and that's the only way to progress in life. So yeah, I know it's painful, I know it's hard, but it's so worth it once you do it. And then in the end, you start feeling good. You start seeing great things happen in your world. You stop relying on alcohol to get you through life and numbing out. You're present in your life. You get to live your life on purpose. You get to live your life with passion. You get to live the life of your dreams, right? So yeah, feel the feels. I love you. Thank you for being here. As always, ka kite. Goikia.